a mad place. It's you and me together, the end of a wild day. Don't keep it all bottled up and release your energy. Hey, only reason we are here is to celebrate in a place where anyone can be.
Hello, my fellow YouTubers and subscribers, and welcome to my latest movie review, where today I review the long-awaited sequel to Disney's Zootopia, or Zootropolis. Zootropolis 2. I'm going to call it Zootropolis because I'm from the UK and that is the UK title, but around the world it's known as Zootopia. So, Zootropolis 2, it's been quite a long time since the first one. I think the first one released something like 2016. I think it was 2016 anyway, so about a good 9 years. It's been almost a decade since the last one. And the first one is very, very good. I really enjoyed the first one. It's a very popular film, and it's a very clever film, and it's written very well. I have reviewed the first movie, so if you want to check that out, it's on my channel. This film is directed by Jared Bush and Byron Howard, who I believe directed the first film. And the plot is as follows. Brave rabbit cop Judy and her friend Nick team up again to crack a new case, the most perilous and intricate of their careers. So essentially it's kind of another buddy cop comedy slash drama with Nick and Judy in the main character seat. So this film, how is it? Well, I do believe that the first one is a tad bit stronger, but this was a great sequel. I really enjoyed this film. This movie was so entertaining. It was so wildly entertaining. I had so much fun. I had a smile on my face. It was action-packed. It was perilous. It was adventurous. The plot was interesting. It was really, really good. I really liked it. There are a couple of issues with this movie that do stop it from being quite up there with the first one, but I really do wish that more sequels were like this. Moana 2, eat your fucking heart out, because look at this. You know, this is what Moana 2 should have been like. I'll say that the cast do another fantastic job here. I really do like Jason Bateman and Ginnifer Goodwin as Nick and Judy. Nick, who is the con man fox, who we grew to love in the first film, and who really cares about Judy. And I love the fact that this duo are not romantically involved. They are just best friends. They've become best friends anyway. They started out as partners in crime, but they really do care about each other. And we do see a more sentimental side to both of them, and their partnership is tested here. And I like the fact that we do get some bumps in the road to their friendship. It's not all plain sailing, and we do have some new characters in this film. My favourite of the new characters being the Snake, or Gary as his real name, voiced by Quan. I'm sorry if I've mispronounced that, but basically the guy that plays Short Round in Indiana Jones. He is obviously grown up now, and he voices the Snake. And the Snake is a really good character. I won't say any more than that, because if I say anything else, it will spoil the movie. Fortune Feimster as Nibbles, who is this beaver who has some of the funniest lines in the film, actually. Has some really good lines, innuendo with her character. She is quite hilarious in this film. Andy Samberg as Paurbert, who has a lot of conflicts with his family, and he's trying to prove himself to his family. He appears to strike up a good friendship with Judy during the movie, and it looks like that her loyalties might be swayed more to his way of thinking rather than Nick. David Strathairn as Milton Linksley. There's like this family of, well, cats, I guess you could say, or tigers. And him and his family are quite at the centre of this film. Again, it's very hard to talk about this film without spoilers, so go and see it. But I liked his involvement in the story and the way that his family played into the drama of the film. Idris Elba is back as the chief, though he's not in it that much. He's only in a few scenes, but he is good when he's there. Michelle Gomez, for you Doctor Who fans, plays Captain Hogbottom. She plays a I think a fairly brief role in the movie, but she does a very good job. And if you're a fan of Doctor Who, obviously you'll recognize her voice. This film has so much action, and the action is really entertaining. The climax is enthralling, actually. There's a lot at stake, and you do feel that there are higher stakes in some regards than there were in the first one. The movie does kind of lean into the same themes as the first one, with the whole society being slightly discriminate and racist, but it doesn't really lean into it too much. When it does lean into it, we see this abandoned town. It's a bit like a old western town where these reptiles live. And they when Nick and Judy go to meet this character called Jesus, that's a really cool moment. It's like they're stepping into this Wild West bar and he's dressed like a cowboy. You know, I kind of liked how they dressed that up. I thought that was really cool. But I just think the film could have done more to lean into that theme again. Obviously, didn't want to repeat the first movie. They kind of did repeat the first movie, but in a good way. So I would have been happy for them to accentuate that even more. I think, for me, the sort of issues with this movie would probably have to be the way that a twist villain is revealed. Once again, these movies can't seem to go 1/3 act without having a twist villain, and the way this was done was kind of abrupt, and there's a lot of that in this film. There's a lot of misdirection in this film as to who is really the main villain, you know, and that does get a little bit annoying. I get what they were trying to do. They're trying to keep the plot interesting and they're trying to hold people's attention, but we don't really need to fire on all cylinders and misdirect the audience this much. Like, we are misdirected at least 3 times with 3 different characters as to who is really the main villain here. It's not quite as annoying as it was in Bad Guys 2. It is prominent here, and when one of the final villains is revealed, his motivations are clear as to why he's made the choice he's made, but it's like, it's a bit exhausting. At times this movie is a bit exhausting because so much is going on, and at times you kind of just want the film to slow down a bit. So I think at times maybe the pace is a bit too brisk. The movie's cramming quite a lot into its runtime. I think it's like, the movie's 1 hour 48 minutes and feels a bit crammed at times, and it does slow down for its emotional moments, but I think maybe there could have been a slight break in pacing a bit more because there's so much action that takes place, and I think that perhaps maybe just a little bit of adjustment could have made this the perfect balance. The balance of pace was a bit up and down, but I'm being very nitpicky here because I do think that the audience that I saw this with really enjoyed it. And the sloths do return. They do return, but not as much as the first one. They're in it briefly, so don't go into the film for the sloths, but they are funny. And there were times when this had me laughing as well. I would say the return of the Mr. Big character was done in such an interesting way, a way that I didn't expect, and was just as funny as the first film. This looks like a film that was really thought about, and the writing was very well done. It's just not quite as strong as the first one. It's got the same sort of strengths as the first one, but it's just not quite on the same level. I think finding just a few little things up could have made this just as good. Like I said, the constant misdirection gets a little bit frustrating, and you do sort of have to remember a lot of plot points. There's a lot of information thrown in, so the way that exposition is delivered is very brisk and perhaps will go over some people's heads, but for what it is, this is a really enjoyable movie, and it's brilliantly animated, and I would happily watch it again because it was really entertaining. It's not a masterpiece, it's not as good as the first one, but it could have been amazing if they maybe just fixed a few of those errors. But I'm glad to say this is a very solid sequel that does have a lot of effort and a lot of passion in it. It's well directed. I would happily see a third one. I would happily see more adventures with Nick and Judy and all of those characters, and I'd love to see what they come up with next. This did feel like more of just like a sort of buddy cop movie, whereas the first one felt more like a drama in some aspects because of the issues of discrimination and the racism, which again this film does touch on, but not as much. So for me, that was what was very striking about the first one, and that was what was more powerful. So perhaps, like I said, if this one leaned into that as well, I wouldn't have complained about that. So I'm going to rate Zootropolis 2 an 8 out of 10.
Caught up in a rat race, concrete jungle life, sometimes a mad place. It's you and me together, the end of a wild day. Don't keep it all bottled up and release your energy. Hey, only reason we are here is to celebrate in a place where anyone can be.
It's pretty good, and I think you'll enjoy it. If you've got kids, go and take them to see it. So anyway, that's my initial thoughts on this movie. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Please comment down below. Let me know. Any disagreements, please treat civilly, or your comment will be removed. So thank you very much, and as always, I am Pajak's Perspective. See ya. Bye for now.